Hi, and welcome to TIS Training on Demand. Today we're going to look at a website, Web 2.0 tool called Glogster, and how you could use this in your elementary classroom as a center or a station. So let's first go and look and see where Glogster is. I always go to Google and I just type in Glogster, but I always want to make sure that I type in EDU because there's two versions of Glogster, and the secure and safe one for students is the EDU site. So that's where you want to be taking your kids to work. I'm going to just go ahead and open it up. It's the first site that comes up. And if you haven't created a Glogster account, of course you're going to need to sign up. It's a very quick process. I'm going to click on sign up. And there are several different kinds of accounts, but we're interested in the free one, which is right here. We'll say get it. And then you're just going to fill out the form on the right. You'll have to come up with a nickname, which is just a username, a password, and you will need a valid email address. Once you've filled out that form, you click I agree, and they're going to send you an email. You'll go to your email account, click on that link, and you are ready to go with Glogster. But I've already got an account, so I'm just going to click on log in. This is just the screen that we came to originally. And what you're going to see here is a lot of stuff. First of all, I had the ability to set up a profile for myself, so I set it up and added a picture and put some information for my students about myself. By no means do you need to do that. In fact, I didn't do that for a very long time. Also, we have the option of creating student accounts, which is really nice because the students can only see the students' work if they're enrolled in the class. So it's a nice, secure place for students to work online, especially elementary students who don't have a lot of secure places that they can do such things. But we're not going to do either of those today. We're just simply going to look at creating glogs and using them with your students in a very simple way in centers. So I'm going to click Create New Glog. All a glog is a digital poster. And so if we scroll down, this is just a poster board that we've created and added some elements to. And every time that it opens up, there are some basic elements that are on there automatically. For example, right here and here. And I don't want those. So I'm just going to click on them and I'm going to say delete. So I'm going to show you a couple things today. The idea being that you had brought a computer or you have a student machine in your classroom, and you have pulled up Glogster for your students, and one of the stations or activities for the day is to do an activity on that Glogster page. So you have students working in groups collaboratively with a technology assignment at one station during the day. Okay, so this item here, if I click on it, does not go away, and that's because it's the wall. And so if I want to get rid of it, I just click on this. This is my main toolbar that I do almost all my work from. If I click on wall, you can see there's lots of options of things that I can change my wall to. And kids think this is a lot of fun when they're creating their own glogs. But what I really want to do today is a math activity, and I don't want to use any of the pre-made walls. I want to add my own. So right here I have the option to click on My Pictures, and this lets me pull up any picture in the world that I've found and saved online. So I'm going to click Upload, and I'm going to navigate to my Glogster folder, which is where I am now, and choose the coordinate grid activity background. And it just pops into Glogster, and I click on it, and I say, let's have this stretch to fill the whole page, and I say use it. So now I've turned my glog into a giant poster board where kids can do coordinate grid activities. So when a kid comes to this station in the classroom, they're going to find a worksheet that looks like this, and it tells them to identify the points listed below on the glog by placing a graphic on each point. And then they need to tell me what kind of graphic they put at each point, so I know what their key is, basically. So we're going to try to put a graphic on 4, -3. The way kids add graphics is they just click on the graphic button, and you're going to notice they have all sorts of choices. And right now I'm in Pop Rock, but that's not quite where I think most elementary kids would want to be. And as I click through here, I can choose the little bunny, or my favorite down here, because some of these are animated. Under Pets, we have a little animated puppy. and I say use him, and he flies in. And then I also want to use the heart, and I say use him, and he flies in too. So now I've got my two graphics for my first two assignment problems, and I can resize these to make these small enough by just clicking on them and shrinking them down. So our first point was 4, -3. The kids would go over here. They would say 4 across the x-axis and -3, and then they would place our dog there and click out of him, and there he is. And then they would place their heart according to the next step on the worksheet, and then they would go and write down what objects they put in each point. After they've done their 4 points, notice that Glogster's automatically saving this for them as they work. So every couple seconds it's saving it. So if they haven't saved, they're not going to lose their work, which is a really nice feature of Glogster. But when they're done, the kids will press save or publish, and then they're going to name their glog. They have to name it something, so they'll name it Group 4 Grid Project, or whatever you want them to name it. They do have to click a category, and this is a math activity, and then they will say that they are finished, save, and publish. Great, it's been saved. Now you as the teacher can go back to the dashboard, and at home that night you will find all of your students' glogs saved down here for you to look at. I just need to scroll down. So here's Group 4's project grid, and I can grade that from work or home just by logging into my Glogster account. And it's a fun interactive way for kids to manipulate data, which is one of the teaks that we're asking them to do. They're using technology environments to manipulate information, and it's fun, and they learned the math concept. So that's my first suggestion for a math activity. Let's think about English. I'm going to create a new glog, and this would be my English activity. Let's say students are reading something like The Indian in the Cupboard. And the great thing about Glogster is that, again, it's a safe environment for your students, and we want the students to do some Twitter posts and create some screen names for some of the characters in the book that we're studying. Now, of course, we couldn't do that on Twitter, but we can do that here because it's a safe environment. I can make my glog look like a Twitter post. So again, I'm just going to click on these elements and delete them. And I'm going to change my background wall to another one of my pictures, which I have shared with you underneath this video. I'm going to go ahead and click upload, and I'm going to go find it. It is the Twitter background. So here it is. Click on it, use it. All of a sudden my glog is now very similar looking to Twitter. So I've asked my students to think about in groups when they come to this station some of the characters, create screen names for them, and what those characters would be tweeting about at this point in the book. So the students would click on text, and they would want just plain text, so they'd click here, and they would say use it, and there the text has flown in. And again, it's flown into the center of the screen, so they'll have to come down here and get it, and drag it up, and then they can click edit, and let's say, like I said, we're doing Indian in the Cupboard. They're going to delete this text, and they're going to say Omri Cupboard 10, so that's a screen name, and he is worried for Little Bear. Patrick is up to no good. And then I can actually go in here and highlight all of this text, and under font, if the kids want, they can change the color and click apply, and then they say OK. And this can be shrunk down to fit into the tweet. So because this auto saves, the kids don't say save or publish. When the group is done and you have the kids switch to the next activity, the next group comes in and they create their tweet for their character. And then you can come back, pull this glog up later after you've read several more chapters, and have the characters and the students create new tweets reflecting what's happened in the story. So it's a fun way to talk about characterization. So I'm going to go ahead and save this one for later so we can edit it. And where this is going to be our little bear tweet. And it's reading, language arts. And I am finished, and I'm going to save and publish. And sometimes I hit this little error message. I'm just going to go right again and say save and see if it'll work this time. There we go. It's been published. Okay, I'm going to go back to the dashboard. Let's talk about a social studies activity. One of the big things and pushes in social studies is to use primary sources, and this is a great place for you to post primary sources for your students to analyze and comment about. So I'm going to click on Create New Glog. Again, clear these activities out. And I'm going to select a wall from a very plain wall for my project, because what I really want my kids to focus on is the primary source, which is an image. I've added an image. I'm going to click on image, and I'm going to say upload. And earlier I went to Gale, which is our library resource database, and found a copyrighted friendly picture of the signing of the declaration that we could use. So here it is. I click on it. I say use it. It flies into my Glog. And I'm going to post it up at the top of the page for my students. And I might even give them some instructions. So I'm going to click on text. Text, ABC. Use it. And I'm going to tell my students, I'll click on edit. Write a sentence about what you see in this painting. And I'm just going to go ahead and drag it up here. So now when the students come to this station that day, they're just going to go ahead and make their own comments. They're going to click on text. And as a group, they're going to decide what they want to comment on. We've been studying the Declaration of Independence, so they know a lot of these characters, and they can make some inferences about who these people are. They click on text, use it, and now they post that group 1 has observed that they think that Ben Franklin is in the center of the painting. Now because this is auto-saving, again, the next group can come in. It's saving their work as they go. The next group comes in, they make their comments. And then you pull this Glog up and you discuss what the kids had added to this activity. You're meeting a lot of your objectives for social studies. You're using a primary source, and the kids are starting to learn how to analyze and identify pictures in that way. And then they're also using a communication tool to participate in a group project, which is one of your technology TEKs. So I could save this and come back to it later, but right now I'm just going to go ahead and delete it and show you my last project. So I'm going to delete the elements. And the last idea I have for this, but there's plenty of ideas that you can come up with on your own, is a science collection. So we often give kids tasks of going out and observing what they see outside and then bringing us back all of these pressed flowers and lovely bugs. And I don't know about you, but I don't really want the lovely bugs in my classroom. So instead of having your kids create a physical collection, you can ask your students to go outside with digital cameras and take some pictures of some of the things that they see. Now they could do this at home or at school. And then the classroom creates a journal on a Glog that shows all of their collection. So for example, let's say we're talking about flowers. All I have to do as a teacher is click in here and put some text. And I'm going to say use it again. And we're going to say edit. This is our Texas flower collection. And I put this in the top of the page. I can make it very big just by dragging that arrow around. And now as the students come in, they plug the cameras in. They're learning how to upload their own images to a computer. And then we just say image and upload. And here is a picture of the Indian blanket that one of my students took a picture of. We say use it. And we can resize it if we want. We can add some text telling what we know about this flower or where we found it. And we can add all the students' pictures to this activity. And a really cool thing about a glog is that it can be printed. So after we save this activity, and name it again, this would be our science project. It's finished. If I go back to my dashboard, I can print any of these activities. So if I just right click on the image of the glog for our Texas flower collection, actually, let's open it. Just double click on it to open it. If I right click on it after I've opened it, I can print this glog. And I can just send it to any printer in the building, or I can send it to the teacher center and have it print it quite largely in nice color pictures. And these can become our posters in our classroom. This is student-generated work that the kids created by contributing to an electronic community together. So it's a pretty powerful tool to be able to display these to your students. So I hope you found some neat things that you can do with a glog. And if you need any extra help or training, just go ahead and put a help desk ticket in and arrange for your test to come and get you started in the classroom or get you set up for it with an account. But you can certainly do that on your own if you want as well. Remember that there are additional resources such as the student instructions and the background images for the Twitter and the grid. They're both linked here below this video on this website for your use. And as well, make sure you take the quick survey so that you can get credit for doing this activity, professional growth credit. All right, thank you.